overpowered, invincible, weapons of mass destruction. These words best describe the men and women at the heart of today's video, the subject of which is the top 10 supervillain one-man army fights. Battles that pit one against many are a dime a dozen in the movies, more so in superhero movies, and there's a reason why. They're not just entertaining as hell, they also serve as the perfect storytelling tool. After all, what better way to show an unstoppable character than have him or her take on and take down an entire army of enemies? We start off strong with Steppenwolf taking on the Amazonian Queen Hippolyta and her army in 2017's Justice League. The Amazonians are probably the fiercest group of female warriors in movies, so when Steppenwolf returns to Earth and lands in the Amazon sacred temple in search of one of the mother boxes, it's obvious he's going to have a fight on his hands. And the Amazonians give it their all to prevent the mother box from falling into the hands of the leader of the parademons. Unfortunately, Steppenwolf is just too strong for them. The axe-wielding new god doesn't really have a hard time pursuing and taking down the warriors, incapacitating their queen, gaining the mother box and just teleporting away. With his escapades, he sets the stage for his final battle with the Justice League, because only the world's strongest superhero team can take on this big bad.
I assure you.
Sneaking in at number 9 is Mystique versus Bolivar Trask, his minions and a room full of Vietnamese generals in 2014's X-Men Days of Future Past. When it comes to the shape-shifting mutant, disguises of course are a given. Here too, to fulfill her mission of killing Trask for experimenting on mutants, Mystique takes on the appearance of a Vietnamese general and infiltrates the scientists' meeting. Exposed by Trask's mutant detector, she attacks and disarms everyone in the room and has Trask at gunpoint when she's stopped by Charles, Eric and Logan. With its elements of time travel and dystopia, Days of Future Past is a compelling watch. It's chock full of memorable scenes, and yes, of course, we're talking about Quicksilver's joyful little jig around the kitchen. Even so, Raven's sneak attack is one for posterity because it shows the blue-skinned mutant doing what she does best. For our next contender, Earth's most battle-hardy soldiers might as well just be flies that are swatted aside. We're talking about Faora Ul and her single-handed takedown of Colonel Nathan Hardy and his US Air Force combat team in 2013's Man of Steel. As a Kryptonian warrior and General Zod's right-hand woman, Faora is cool, supremely confident, chillingly brutal, and a killing machine. Such is her fighting prowess and appetite for destruction that even Superman might not be a match for her without digging into unknown reserves of power. In a fight with the soldiers, she takes the hail of bullets without flinching and goes on to turn both men and their machines into a mangled mess. She also makes an impact with her arrogance, promising Hardy a good death as a reward. Though things don't go to plan for Faora eventually, she's still a delight to watch in this scene. Tragedy visits at number 7 as Magneto slaughters a group of soldiers in a cold, grey forest with just his daughter's necklace. Chillingly portrayed and emotionally raw, this is without question the saddest moment in 2016's X-Men Apocalypse. It's also very different in tone from all the entries so far because there are no actual villains here. Despite having killed Eric's wife and daughter, the soldiers are just people who panicked after being caught in a situation that they couldn't comprehend. And despite having killed the soldiers, Eric is just a man who struggled and failed to live a quiet life, hiding his incredible powers. This is also one of the movie's most important scenes as it captures the moment a desolate Eric turns into the ruthless Magneto, one bent on destroying the world. Magneto's always been a complex, multi-layered character in the X-Men universe, and this scene perhaps best explains why he turned out like that.
There is no stopping it. There is only the war. So be it.
Making his appearance felt at number 6 is Loki. Before he became a scene stealer and a fan favourite of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Thor's younger brother had another purpose: to serve as the primary antagonist of both the first Thor movie as well as the first Avengers film, which hit theaters in 2011 and 2012 respectively. As a supervillain, Loki naturally deserves a dramatic entry, and his arrival on Earth in the Avengers is just that. Zooming straight into a top-secret S.H.I.E.L.D. facility through a portal, Loki disarms the S.H.I.E.L.D. officials, including Hawkeye, by taking control of their minds with the help of the Mind Stone, a present on loan from Thanos. He then goes on to steal the Tesseract, which is the vessel of the Space Stone, and makes his getaway. Just like that, hollow-eyed and a bit creepy, the Loki of old is a far cry from the trickster god we've all grown to love. But let's not forget, he still ranks as one of the MCU's best villains.
How will your friends have time for me when they're so busy fighting you? This usually works.
Well, performance issues, it's not uncommon. 1 out of 5.
What the hell are you?
We are Venom. On second thought.
Please.
Sometimes supervillains don't mean to do the things they do, and that's just what this next moment counts as. Down and out on his luck, journalist Eddie Brock isn't the type of guy to fight anyone, much less clean up an apartment full of thugs. But with a parasitic alien latching onto him and taking over his body every now and then, Brock really has no say in the matter. When the symbiote takes control, Brock's no longer Brock, but Venom, a monstrosity with super scary teeth and superpowers. And fight he must, whether he wants to or not. What's different about this one versus many fight from the 2018 film Venom is, even as the symbiote is sweeping the floor with thugs, Brock is taking just as bad a beating. Comical and badass at the same time, this is one of those action sequences you can really sink your teeth into.
Yeah.
Hey, can you turn your music down, please? Because I'm having a really hard time.
Whatever. Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, I'll just turn it right down.
Thank you. Thank you.
In the fourth spot is Thanos, who needs no introduction. Avengers Infinity War, which released in 2018, is a film that serves as a vehicle for the Mad Titan, showing us why he's the MCU's single biggest threat and the Avengers' greatest nemesis. The film features not one but 3 battle scenes where Thanos single-handedly takes on the Avengers and their allies and comes up trumps each time. All of these fights are brilliant, but for this video, we're going with the showdown on Titan. Not as one-sided as the other 2 contests, Thanos squares off against Iron Man, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange and the Guardians of the Galaxy and comes pretty close to losing his Infinity Gauntlet. Yet, luck's on his side and he ends up attaining the Time Stone instead. The clash on Titan is one of the most visually arresting action sequences in the MCU. More importantly, its events set the stage for the dramatic finale in Avengers Endgame.
You die for that. You should have gone for the head.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Psycho for the next entry on this list. And in case you're confused, we're still on the subject of supervillains and not horror movies. But Dr. Octopus's Operation Room Carnage in 2004 Spider-Man 2 stands out for its obvious, yet fresh tribute to the Hollywood horror classics. As the unwitting doctors attempt to remove Doc Ock's tentacles, the appendages suddenly come to life. What follows is slaughter like the likes of which you've never seen in superhero movies. Sam Raimi, the director, is no stranger to horror, having created the Evil Dead series. As such, this homage to horror is perhaps to be expected. And with that said, the scene is strikingly memorable. It also perfectly captures the moment the brilliant Dr. Otto Octavius transforms into the monstrous Doc Ock. Fun fact, we hear that Alfred Molina is all set to return as the 8-limbed villain in the untitled Spidey movie set for a December 2021 release. At number 2, we have Thanos versus Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man in 2019's Avengers Endgame. The Thanos of Endgame is quite different from the Thanos of Infinity War. Courtesy of the MCU's complex time travel and Back to the Future storylines, this Thanos is younger, stronger, hungrier, and more driven than the Thanos that snapped his fingers and completed his life's mission at the end of Infinity War. Therefore, his conquest of the Trinity shouldn't come as any great surprise. And yet this epic battle is nothing like the Mad Titan's landslide victory over Earth's mightiest in Infinity War. Instead of a whitewash, we get to see the big three give their all and take the fight to Thanos, landing punches and blows on his indestructible body. There's also that iconic moment during the battle when Cap lifts Thor's hammer, which is the reason why people are still talking about this 1 against 3 battle.
I know what I must do. I will shred this universe down to its last atom. A grateful universe.
Born out of blood.
They'll never know it. Because you won't be alive to tell them.
It doesn't get bigger than this. Put up your lightsabers because coming in the top spot is the man in the black helmet and mask. Through the years, Darth Vader's become a bit of a hero figure and cult icon. This ending scene from 2016's Rogue One snaps us out of that happy dream and reminds us that the Chosen One is also one of the most viciously evil and cold-blooded villains around, one more prone to slaughtering entire communities than showing the slightest hint of mercy to his opponents. He's no different from Thanos, actually. This scene opens in dramatic glory with Darth Vader unveiling his blood-red lightsaber in a dark corridor. He then walks down that corridor, cutting down the rebel soldiers one by one. His actions are calm and mechanical, and he shows no emotion, which is what makes this a bone-chilling spectacle. Darth Vader is a whole new level of scary and one to stay clear of even if you've got an army behind you. And that does it for the top 10 supervillain one-man army fights. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a like. Feel free to leave a comment and tell me your thoughts. A good response on this video definitely guarantees me doing volume 2, so it's all in your hands. Also, do subscribe to my channel for more top 10s and superhero content. I've got plenty more coming up. See you again with another video real soon on the TV Regent.